Welcome back everyone to FF2M coverage here at the Nurburgring. This time around we are here for the sprint race here in Germany. I am your FF2M commentator Joseph Willows, and after a very exciting feature race yesterday which saw a lot of chaos, we saw Isuki Yoshida take the first win of 2014, leading over 1-2 for AJ, with Gencho Chi coming home in second position. As you can see there, he's his name on the winners list, and I think I said yesterday there were 8 weekends in total, which was incorrect to me. It's in fact 10 weekends. As you can see, we're obviously here at the Nurburgring, then we go to Estoril, then Monaco, then Silverstone, Hockenheim, Spielberg, Budapest, Spa, Monza, and then Catalonia. So should be hopefully a very exciting season coming your way here in 2014 for FF2M as well as FF1M as well, which is going very excitingly as well. Here is a layout of the circuit. For anybody wondering, it is a 2001 version of the track we are using. I prefer the newer version of the track, but it's not to everybody's taste. We've got 16 laps of action coming your way rather than 38 that we had yesterday. It's just a sprint to the finish, hence why it's called a sprint race. No pit stop, everybody on similar fuel loads, so who knows, maybe the chaos that we saw in the feature race yesterday will be erased. But we'll have to wait and see on that as we get a great view of the Nurburgring with the world famous Nordschleife right next to it. Of course, FF2 and FF1M aren't racing on that layout, of course, for obvious reasons, but of course the newer version of the Nurburgring is great anyway. But here is the starting grid then for the sprint race. The top 8 of course being reversed from the feature race, so it is an all Willows front row with Stoffel Vandoorne on pole and Esteban Ocon in second, Max Verstappen third with Fabio Lima fourth, Cooper Lee will start in fifth with Thomas Gonzalez, who was robbed yesterday of victory, in sixth, with Gencho Chi seventh and Isuki Yoshida running out the top 8 with Alexander Rossi 9th, Pierre Gasly 10th, Charles Pic in 11th with Felipe Nasr 12th, Sergei Sirotkin in 13th with Jolyon Palmer 14th, Naoki Yamamoto 15th, Antonio Felix da Costa in 16th with Daniel Kvyat 17th, Will Stevens in 18th, Nicholas Latifi in 19th with Pascal Wehrlein 20th, and then rounding out the back row of the grid we have Max Chilton for STV Racing and Marcus Ericsson for Shake and Bake. So there is your grid then for the sprint race. Hopefully it should be a very, very exciting race indeed. Will the Willowses be able to get a 1-2 finish like the AJs did yesterday? Only time will tell. We'll obviously have 16 laps of action to find that out, of course. So now we find ourselves on the grid as the 5 lights are now on. And the first sprint race of the season is underway. It's a very good start for Stoffel Vandoorne, who gets away well from Esteban Ocon, but it looks like he's also being attacked now by Max Verstappen and I believe Fabio Lima. In fact, Verstappen now fancying his chances on Vandoorne as well, and he's done it. Max Verstappen takes the lead of the race as Ocon also follows suit as well to take second place off his teammate. And unlike yesterday, it seems to be a much cleaner start down at turn 1, because yesterday, of course, we had 4 cars off at the first corner as they make their way through the right-hander now for the first time today, heading their way down towards the Dunlop hairpin as the 2 Willowses still follow suit as Da Costa on the inside of Cooper Lee now then, and he takes P6 from ease from the Australian, so all good stuff for him at the moment as Gencho Chi fancies his chances as well, but he's also got the likes of Pierre Gasly following him as well, as we look at Thomas Gonzalez now then, who tries to take 4th place off of Fabio Lima, as those two look to scrap it out for 4th place, the 2 teammates, as meantime Verstappen still has the 2 Willows cars attacking him up towards the Adbog chicane. Verstappen going a bit defensive. I don't think he really needed to, because it didn't look like Ocon was close to him, as Gonzalez on the inside now then of Fabio Lima, and he takes 4th place from ease there from his teammate. A bit of contact at the back. Looks like Rossi, Nasr and I believe Ericsson have all decided to make contact at the Adbog chicane, so a little bit of chaos there, as now Verstappen sets the fastest lap you just saw, but I don't think that's going to make any difference whatsoever, because Ocon now on the inside of Verstappen. Is this going to be the lead for the Frenchman? And yes, it is. Into the lead of the race goes Esteban Ocon, and now Vandoorne would like to fancy his chances as well, as Da Costa is taking 5th place from Fabio Lima. We now look at Latifi now then, who is attacking for 16th position, as there's an overtake there for Isuki Yoshida in front, and there's contact there. Latifi has gone around, and there's 2 cars off there at turn 2. One of those guys is Pascal Wehrlein. I don't know who the other one is, but they go onto the grass and they both go for a spin as well. So trying to take avoiding action there from that collision, and it's not gone the way they wanted to. Now we look at Stoffel Vandoorne, who's on the back of Max Verstappen, only on the 2nd lap of the race we are on, as they make their way through the left and right-handers on the racetrack now. Then can Vandoorne try and get the move done on Max Verstappen if he can, as they make their way towards the right-hander and up towards the Nurburgring chicane. Is Van Dorn going to try and make a move on Verstappen? He faked to the right and then went to the left. Van Dorn on the inside, and he takes P2 from ease from Max Verstappen. Or does he? Because Verstappen is actually still sticking with him as they go into the Coca-Cola curve. Verstappen had to brake early, and that nearly allowed Thomas Gonzalez to take third place, and it's also allowed Da Costa to get in this scrap as well. Heading down towards the straight now then. Can Gonzalez try and make the move now on Max Verstappen for P3 down the inside into turn 1? Can Gonzalez get the move done? No, Verstappen just able to hang it around the outside. Da Costa not able to capitalise, as Lima having to fend off from Gencho Chi at the moment, and a huge train of cars behind as well. So interesting stuff there as Cooper Lee tried to make a move there on Antonio Felix da Costa, but he wasn't able to get the move done. Coming out of turn 4 we go, making our way down towards the Dunlop hairpin now. Gasly lining up a move on Gencho Cheese. It's going to be P8 for the Frenchman, and it is. It's P8 now for Pierre Gasly. Up into P8 he goes, as now Chi will have to fend off him. I believe that's Jolyon Palmer behind, and Alexander Rossi making their way to turn 1. Contact between Lee and Da Costa, and Da Costa's gone into the gravel, and Lee very aggressively moves up into P5, and well, that was that really. Now Lima fancies his chances, trying to take advantage of that little bit of contact that was happening, and Lima not able to get the move done. Lima trying to find a way on Da Costa. Contact there into the Nurburgring chicane, and will he take advantage there? Because Da Costa went a little bit straight on, isn't able to take P6 there with ease, going into the Coca-Cola curve. And let's see if Lima can get the move done on Antonio Felix da Costa, heading down the pit straight now. Then Gencho Chi now trying to get 7th place if he can. Lima now on the inside of Da Costa. Will he take P6 with ease? Yes, he does. Lima gets himself into 6th place there, as Ericsson gets by on Palmer for P12. So Lima now finds himself in the top 6 as Chi now tries to have a go at Da Costa. Da Costa fends off there into turn at number 3. Meantime, now we're looking at the battle for third. Gonzalez all over the back of Max Verstappen. Can he get P3 now for the teenage Dutchman? And yes, he can. Up into 3rd place goes Thomas Gonzalez. Now, can he go after the 2 Willows cars in front of Ocon and Van Dorn? Making the way down towards turn 1 now then. Chi on the inside of Da Costa. Is Chi going to try and get the move done on Da Costa? No, Da Costa fends off into the first couple of corners there. As meantime, Yoshida makes the move on Gasly and gets up into 9th position. We now look at Rossi, who's trying to make a move on Pierre Gasly, and that's P9 for the American. Looks like Ericsson also wants to take advantage if he can on the back of Gasly as they make their way up towards the Schumacher S. And now Ericsson on the inside of Gasly, and that's P11 for the Swede. So up into 11th place goes Marcus Ericsson. Gasly losing places hand over fist at this point. We look at Pick now, who's on the back of, I believe this is Jolyon Palmer he's behind, making their way now then towards the left and right-hander. Pick on the inside of Jolyon Palmer, and that's P13 for the Frenchman, is it? Palmer's still sticking with him, so close to contact. We saw similar contact in the feature race yesterday, and luckily no contact this time, and Pick makes himself up into 13th position. Now Lee on the back of Verstappen. Is it going to be P4 for the Australian? Yes, it is. That's a beautiful move for Cooper Lee. Well, I say that because Verstappen has actually gone off the track. He's gone straight on, clearly paying too much attention to Lee that he got distracted and ran out of road. Luckily for him, he doesn't lose any positions, but he finds himself under threat now from Fabio Oliva, who might try and get him into the Nurburgring chicane. Down the inside goes Lima, and that's P5 for the Swiss driver. Up into P5 goes Fabio Lima in the Tornado, as now Da Costa fancies his chances on Verstappen. Oh, he had a lock up there, had to back out of that one, and now Gencho Chi may fancy his chances on the Portuguese driver heading down the pit straight. Will Chi fancy his chances on Da Costa now then, as he's going to try and look to the inside? Gencho Chi, can he get the move done on Da Costa? Down through turn 1, he might be able to. Da Costa's gone a bit wide. Around the outside goes Chi, and that's P7 for the Chinese driver. Gencho Chi up into 7th, but Da Costa trying to fight back into turn number 3, but Chi covers it off beautifully there, and now Da Costa finds himself in an AJ sandwich at this point, because Yoshida now fancies his chances on Da Costa. Can he take P8 now from the Portuguese driver up towards the Nurburgring chicane? He's on the inside. Is Yoshida going to get the move done into the chicane? And yes, he is. Up into P8 goes Isuki Yoshida, and now Rossi fancies his chances now on Da Costa for P9. Meantime now, Gonzalez on the back of Van Dorn. He's caught up to the 2 Willowses. Down the inside goes Gonzalez. Can he get the move done on Van Dorn? And yes, he can. Up into 2nd place goes Thomas Gonzalez, and now Van Dorn might be under threat and a bit from Cooper Lee, who is also gaining on these guys as well. Lee has got some very intriguing pace at the moment, in 4th place as Cooper Lee. Now, we look at him now then. Will he try and line up a move on Van Dorn going up towards the Adbog chicane? Heading up towards the right-hander, now up towards the chicane. Will Lee try and pounce on the inside? He's going to go for the move. The Australian on the inside into the chicane. Is Lee going to get 3rd place? Van Dorn trying to stick with him, but it's not enough. Cooper Lee grabs the final podium place of Van Dorn, so in the space of a lap, Van Dorn goes from 2nd down to 4th. It was a Willows 1-2. Now it's a Willows 1-4, as now we look at Pick on the inside of Rossi, and that's a position gain for Shell Pick. That's P11 now for Shell Pick. He gains the place of Alexander Rossi. As now we look at Nicholas Latifi, who's all over the backside of his teammate now then, as he tries to make the move on and into turn number 1, and he gets the move done into P18 goes Latifi, but he dips 2 wheels on the gravel there. Will his teammate try and capitalise back into turn number 3? A load of cars gaggling there through the corner, and there's contact there, and around goes Latifi's teammate. Rule 1 in racing, never hit your teammate, and I expect to be some tense times in the team's paddock later on after that collision. Now, we look at Esteban Ocon now, who's being caught up by Thomas Gonzalez, who's taken 7 tenths. Well, I say taking 7 tenths, taking 2 tenths out of him. It's now down to 7 tenths between Ocon and Gonzalez. We now have a battle for the lead between the pair of them going into, on lap 13 of the race, 3 and a bit laps to go in this sprint race here at the moment. A very exciting sprint race, not been as chaotic as what it has been yesterday, which I think is great to see, but it has been quite a lot of overtaking, a lot of exciting moments as well. But Ocon under pressure now as Gonzalez wants to make amends after being robbed of the feature race win yesterday after a collision with Verstappen, I believe it was, at the Dunlop hairpin. As now we make our way towards the Coca-Cola curve, round the right-hander we go. And Ocon looks like he's just got enough of a gap at the moment to Gonzalez. So Gonzalez not close enough to make a move on him as we start lap 14 of 16. 3 laps to go in this sprint race. The leaderboard looks like this at the moment then. Ocon leads, Gonzalez 2nd, Lee in 3rd, Van Dorn 4th, Lima 5th, Verstappen 6th, Chi in 7th, and Yoshida rounding out the top 8. Verstappen, of course, rounding out the points at the moment because remember in the sprint race, unlike in the feature race, the top 6 only get points in this race. But of course, we still have that bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, so that doesn't change anything on that front. Meantime, Gonzalez getting closer, but I don't think he's close enough to make a move into the Dunlop hairpin. Although, as I say that, Ocon went very defensive going into the corner there. Will Gonzalez maybe try and pounce at the exit of the Schumacher S? We'll have to wait and see. Up towards the Schumacher S we go now then, which will probably be near flat out in these cars. Out of the corner we go. Is Gonzalez going to line him up? And no, he won't, because as you can see from the onboard camera of Thomas Gonzalez, he is not close enough to pounce on Esteban Ocon. Let's see if he can try at the Adbog chicane now then, depending on the exit out of this corner. Coming out the corner now then, is Gonzalez close enough to pounce on Esteban Ocon now then? And I don't think he is. I think Ocon's just got enough of a gap on Gonzalez, but Ocon's still feeling the need to defend. I don't think I would have done that if I were you, Ocon, because that's allowed Gonzalez to get closer to the back of him now then, heading towards the Coca-Cola curve then for the 14th time today. Will Gonzalez now maybe pounce down into turn number 1 now then? He's in the slipstream of the Frenchman Esteban Ocon. Will he try and make a move into turn number 1 this time by Ocon defending the inside, so he's just going to hold on to the lead for the time being. But Gonzalez is clearly the quicker of the two at this point in time. And maybe Gonzalez will maybe try and line him up into the Dunlop hairpin, where he lost the win yesterday, of course, remember, to Max Verstappen. And as a result, it allowed Yoshida to grab the victory yesterday as a result. Coming out the corner now then, will Gonzalez pounce on Ocon into the Dunlop hairpin. He's in the slipstream. He's going to look to the inside. Ocon tries to go defensive, but there's just enough space for Gonzalez to get on the inside. And that's position gain for Gonzalez. And as a result, Thomas Gonzalez now takes the lead of the sprint race here at the Nurburgring, and now looks set to possibly make amends after being robbed of the feature race win yesterday, as they now make their way towards the final complex of corners on this track, as we're now onto the final lap. And now look, Cooper Lee fancies his chances now on Esteban Ocon in this battle for second place, so Ocon could lose yet another place before the race is even finished. Lee now at the exit of the corner. Would he try and get him into the Dunlop hairpin? Looks like Ocon had better traction in there, so it looks like Lee is just going to hold back for the moment and maybe try and pounce right after the Schumacher S. Let's have a look and see then. So coming out the Dunlop hairpin up towards the Schumacher S for the final time today. Can Ocon hold on, or will Lee capitalise and get the place out of the corner? Looks like Lee had brilliant traction coming out the corner. Ocon defends. Lee faked it, goes to the inside, and he gets the move done. Up into second place goes the Australian. He faked to the right, went to the left, and that's P2 for the Australian. Ocon, after leading the race, now finds himself down in third. It looks like the final podium place will have to do for the Frenchman. Maybe he can try and tap back into the Ardboggan chicane, but I don't think he's close enough. I think Lee is just going to hold on for second place. But now we look at Thomas Gonzalez, who is going to take victory here in the sprint race after being robbed of the feature race win yesterday. He's going to make amends out of the final corner, and Thomas Gonzalez for Tornado is going to win the sprint race here at the Nurburgring, aka Spaniel, of course, owned by Tornado. Fantastic achievement for them indeed, and a well-deserved victory for Thomas Gonzalez, making amends after losing the feature race win yesterday. Here are the final results then of the sprint race. Thomas Gonzalez won the race with Cooper Lee in second, Esteban Ocon third, with teammate Van Dorn in fourth, Fabio Lima in fifth, with Max Verstappen rounding out the points in sixth, with Gencho Chi in seventh, Isuki Yoshida, yesterday's winner, finishing in eighth, with Antonio Felix da Costa ninth, Marcus Ericsson rounding out the top 10, with Charles Pic 11th, Alexander Rossi 12th, Pierre Gasly 13th, Felipe Nasser 14th, Jolyon Palmer in 15th, with Sergei Sorokin 16th, Daniel Kvyat in 17th, with Nicholas Latifi 18th, Naoki Yamamoto in 19th, with Max Chilton in 20th, Pascal Wehrlein in 21st, and Will Stevens, the last of the finishers, in 26th. In 22nd and last. I'm out of breath after that race. It was a very exciting race. Over a minute behind Thomas Gonzalez. The bonus point for the fastest lap goes to Cooper Lee after a very impressive performance for OLM Racing. I'll get there in the end with that pronunciation because I kind of butchered it yesterday in the feature race highlights. 1:22.012 was the time for the Australian. Now we're going to take a look at the championship standings after this weekend's racing here at the Nurburgring. Thomas Gonzalez takes the lead in the championship by 3 points ahead of Isuki Yoshida, with Cooper Lee in third, Gencho Chi in fourth, Ocon and Lima tied for fifth, with Van Dorn and Verstappen tied for seventh, and the rest of the drivers still yet to score points this season from Rossi downwards. In the team's championship, Spaniel aka Tornado take the lead by 1 point ahead of AJ, with LM Racing in third, Willows a point behind in fourth, and Liquid Target, the last team to have points, in fifth, with Danish, Gujera, STV, GRM, Horizon and Shake and Bake the only teams yet to score points this season in FF2M 2014. So there you go then, that has been it from the sprint race here at the Nurburgring and all the action here at the Nurburgring as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Some very exciting racing indeed, and it looks like it's going to be the makings for a very, very exciting championship. Next time around for FF2M, we'll be at Estoril for the second meeting of the season for the next 2 races of the 2014 championship. But I have been Joseph Willows. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Take care.